Certainly good to be back.
It sure is. Thank you, Mr. Howland.
I wanted to mention a few upcoming events. I didn't do it earlier, but this coming Wednesday, the 18th of January, at the Milkweed Art Gallery, which is at 2 and 3 Romer's Alley on Kings Highway in Sugarloaf, New York. This is very interesting. There is a poetry workshop, then a featured poet, and then an open mic. And it starts at 6:30. Karen Corinne Herseg will be reading from her new book, Out from Calaboose. And I think that's after the workshop and the open mic. That's coming up.
It should be our next feature.
Exactly. That's coming up on the 18th. And then she will be here as a featured poet on the second Friday, I think it's the 10th, is it? Of February at 8 p.m. Okay. The Hudson River Poets, some of you are in the house. Every fourth Thursday the 26th of January at 7 p.m. over at the Newburgh Library, 124 Grand Street, and the host is Hayden Wayne. Now get this, we're coming back to Jones Farm. The schedule is really strange, but we're starting up again on the 27th of January at 7 p.m. That is at 190 Angola Road in Cornwall, literally a farm, and we happen to read in the art gallery. And the featured poet, Karen Herseg, pushing her book. I have some flyers on the glass counter in the back or the front, depending on how you look at it. Otherwise, you can give me your email, if you please, and I'll send you my monthly calendar, which I've been sending out since the early days of the internet, over email. Okay, Ted Gill, where's Ted? He's still with us. Ted Gill hosts the Poetry at the Church series at the Goshen Methodist Church, last Mondays at 7 o'clock. That's at 115 Main Street in Goshen, New York. And I will be the featured poet on the 30th of January. See Ted for more information. I'll do one more and then we'll remind you of something else. Coming up on the 2nd of February, we're just about into February in my mind, Noble Coffee Roasters. That is over in Campbell Hall, New York in Orange County, on the corner of Stony Ford Road and Route 207. 7 p.m., February 2nd, for the Groundhogs, Ernie Sherman, reading from his haiku, most likely. And then we're back here on the 10th with Karen Corinne Herseg. It is the 10th. And hopefully all of you, your friends... What? Carpellis, yes, over in Newburgh on Broadway, the Carpellis Museum, 1 p.m. every first Saturday. How could I forget? There's another palace like this building. All right. I won't take long because people want to clean up and go home, so just a few birthdays and death days. Wilkie Collins, the great novelist and protege of Dickens, born in 1824 in England on the 8th. John Neihardt, born in 1881 in America. He was a novelist and a poet. Charles Tomlinson, born in England in 1927. Paul Verlaine's death in 1896. He was Prince of Poets, but he eventually had to die too. I think he was 52 years old. On the 9th, we have William Meredith, an American poet, 1919. Joan Baez, born in 1941. And the loss of Amiri Baraka at age 79 in 2014. January 10th, the great Robinson Jeffers, born in Pittsburgh in 1887. Philip Levine in 1928, the famous one, not the one from Woodstock. Jim Croce, 1943. Happy birthday, David Kine. David, happy birthday. And of course, Tony mentioned the death of David Bowie at age 69 in 2016. But we have Max Roach on the Skins, born in 1924. Charles Roberts, Canadian poet, 1860. And now we're up to the 11th. This is from Mauro Salvatore Parisi, a good friend of the Howland Cultural Center years ago, and one of our fellow poets. His birthday in 1959 on the 11th. He's no longer with us, some of you know. Jack London, born on the 12th in 1876. Hudson Valley poet, some of you know her, a fine poet. Rebecca Shumega's birthday. She's living up around Albany now. And today, the anniversary of the death of the creator of the Fairy Queen, we have Edmund Spenser, died in 1599. Well, he's immortal. James Joyce died in 1941. Just a few of those. All right, here's one. There's a theme, a sub-theme that was set this evening. But I mentioned Robinson Jeffers, and he fell into quite quite the ire of the government during the Great War and then World War II for poems like this. We are those people. I have abhorred the wars and despised the liars, laughed at the frightened and forecast victory. Never one moment's doubt. But now, not far over the backs of some crawling years, the next great war's column of dust and fire writhes up the sides of the sky. It becomes clear that we too may suffer what others have, the brutal horrors of defeat, or if not in the next, then in the next. Therefore, watch Germany and read the future. We wish, of course, that our women would die like biting rats in the cellars, our men like wolves in the mountains. It will not be so. Our men will curse, cringe, and obey. Our women uncover themselves to the grinning victors for bits of chocolate. Robinson Jeffers. Another one of his, if I may. That was written in 1939, by the way. All right, here's another one by Jeffers. And this one is rather fortuitous for this evening. Cassandra, the mad girl with the staring eyes and long white fingers hooked in the stones of the wall, the storm-racked hair and the screeching mouth. Does it matter, Cassandra, whether the people believe your bitter fountain? Truly, men hate the truth. They'd liefer meet a tiger on the road. Therefore the poets honey their truth with lying. But religion vendors and political men pour from the barrel new lies on the old and are praised for kindly wisdom. Poor bitch, be wise. No, you'll still mumble in a corner a crust of truth to men and God's disgusting you and I. Cassandra. Robinson Jeffers. All right, just two of mine. Don't worry, they're not long. We'll save those for another time. This was written, I was inspired, well, I'm perpetually inspired by classical music. I was listening to Schubert's Rosamunde string quartet. Rosamunde revisited. She loved him once, years ago, past sun turns, years wandering cyclic odysseys, but now, under bone-bent, bearded, wrinkled codger clothes, neath thin, candle-spent, withered chrome tooth, scant dreams of palatial youth are scattered along frozen days, where last autumn's leaf failures dance as if winter never arrived. She uttered youth's fervid pronouncements, the body's wants, the heart's longing, completion for some pilgrims along Eden's boardwalk of pleasures, but the ocean's placid visage hides jagged reefs, sharks shadowed cold. The heat of youth craves its consequence, but the city plans its duplicity, counting houses, flesh parades, daring distractions, induced somnolence, and stark urban regret. He loved her once, drears ago. Bodies want bodies, yet babies cast ethereal spells from imperceptible dimensions, waiting for chance and fate to glance and sate desires called for by nature's eternal landscape of hunger. Unwashed faces pressed against the cold panes of extravagance, waiting for the dumpster's cornucopia, but dramatic winds course through cities and towns alike, carrying memoirs of histrionic realities, sharp, living regret. The heat of youth is exuberant and contumacious. She promised babies and legacies of emotional binding once, years ago. He uttered youth's foolish pronouncements. The decadent society, the heart's longing, the skin's desire, a distraction of heat. Innocence is immortality, experience is memory, mistakes, brain jails, and sharp, living regret. Lewd theaters of loud vision carried in walkabout mind, games played on oneself, as if the years accumulate, tears consecrate stark memory, insistent memory, wandering a cyclic odyssey. All right. This is my last one. People keep talking about January 20th. You should keep your eye on it. But while that's unfolding, people are not paying attention to this. Dinner in Aleppo. You worry about two wealthy liars as they fight over the American standard throne, while children are killed in Syria. You speak in terms of love, honor, mercy, and intellect as children go hungry in Syria. Their homes are ruined, families destroyed, and you speak of political liars as though they are leaders. You speak of election night parties with endless food and drink as UN convoys are stopped, bombed, or ransacked in Syria. Crimes against humanity in Syria, and you bemoan choice, rhetoric, slander, and meretricious wordplay broadcast live between two business partners, old colleagues at a temple to avarice. The duped constituents were intellectually gelded years ago. The Patriot Act was never retired. Inquisitors wander freely amidst the masses, watching and taking notes. Camera-posted Main Street remains inspired by the fool's errand to electronics and social engineering on a derailed set of tracks, marks of the beast, and your choices are non-existent. You speak of campaign stress, of him, of her, without considering air campaigns in Aleppo and a child's anguish over life and death. I am a veteran in the war for the American mind. I vote for life. I send my campaign contributions to Doctors Without Borders, UNICEF, and Oxfam. Children eating dinner and drinking clean water in Aleppo will be my election night party. Thank you. Katie?